anything like me, you have wondered several times how it is possible to get addicted to studying and doing the hard work like it is to get addicted to scrolling on social media. One simple word. It's called dopamine baseline. The reason why you find it easier to get addicted to scrolling on social media, watching porn, or doing basically anything that has to do with, hedonistic behavior or doesn't have anything to do with reaching your goals, your studies, or maybe graduating, anything that just doesn't upbuild you entirely. The reason why you get addicted to things that don't upbuild you is because the things that seem the most pleasurable are the things that fall higher on your dopamine scale. Your dopamine scale is basically a scale that encompasses what can make you happy, what can give you that fulfillment. And quite frankly, for a lot of you people, a lot of us, that comes from social media scrolling, pointless conversations with friends, all of these other things that doesn't have to do with our own futures or our own destinies. All these things that don't even make sense, right? Our brains tend to shy away from those things. Our brains don't like to do the hard work naturally, and that's just what it is. And the reason as to why that happens is because of social media and the other distractions that are out there. In the world we live in, we have so many more distractions that can keep us occupied apart from studying. If you're a student right now, or you're an entrepreneur, or somebody who needs their focus to be on high alert all of the time, what I can tell you is everything that is around you has been designed to take you away from what you are supposed to be doing to start, doing the thing that you are doing, right? Social media companies spend millions of dollars every single year to make sure that their social media platforms are actually addictive. But the real bitch move that people make is not putting into consideration why these social media companies have been made. People actually purposefully make them to be addictive so that the average Jim and Jack like you and I gets sucked into this kind of content, this kind of degeneracy, right? And I know a lot of people have clicked off already just because I've mentioned social media. That is how down bad people are when it comes to these types of things. Because social media is something that is so addictive, and putting it higher than what you're supposed to be doing, like studying or working on your business or, doing anything productive like going to the gym. The reason why scrolling on social media, watching porn, the reason why these things seem fun is because they're way up above your dopamine baseline. Now, what do you need to do to make sure studying becomes something that is way above your dopamine baseline and becomes something that is more enjoyable for you? One thing that I can tell you is you need to cut out everything that is more fun than doing the work. More fun than studying, more fun than doing your business. If you keep other fun things into your life, like maybe let's say you are one who likes to scroll on TikTok after work, right? You get some work done, then you say, okay, let me take a break, so you start scrolling on TikTok. That simply means you are telling your brain that there is something that is more fun that you could be doing other than focusing on the actual work. This applies to students who scroll after they finish studying or before they finish studying. They wake up first in the morning, they scroll on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, social media scrolling, or they just do other things that may be more addictive than studying, more fun than studying. Guess what's gonna happen when you actually pick up a book and start to study? You are not going to be in the zone to study. Why? It's because your brain is telling you that there is something that is more comfortable, there's something that is much more fun that you could be doing rather than studying. Hear me out. In order to get the best grades possible, you need to be the type of person who makes getting good grades fun. You know what I mean? Which means for you, the biggest dopamine hit that you should be getting on a daily basis is finishing your work. When you make sure that you treat your work like a game, you treat it like something that you play with, right? you make it kind of fun to monitor how many hours you're studying, how much information you're able to capture in one day. If you turn that into a game and make that super enjoyable in your mind, then you cut out the other bullshit like the video games, the scrolling on social media, the Pornhub, you cut out all of those things, then it will see to it that your brain is going to find those things more progressive. It's going to find studying more enjoyable. And what happens when you find studying more enjoyable? You're going to get better grades in school, you're going to become top performer in your class, and you're basically going to graduate quicker, right? Because if your country is anything like my country, it means you don't just go to university and get away with any mediocre qualifications. You actually need to graduate. You need to pass. You need to pass the classes in order for you to graduate. And in order for you to graduate as quick as you possibly can, you don't need to be failing classes. Now, let me tell you something. As a student and entrepreneur, hopefully that's what the algorithm targets, right? The algorithm mostly targets people who are students and are also into entrepreneurship, right? And soon I also want to be attracting working class people because everybody needs to get into entrepreneurship. But that aside, let's say for instance, you're a student entrepreneur. You already know the type of lifestyle you need to have. You need to have a more disciplined lifestyle. You need to be more obsessed with self-improvement. And that just doesn't come on a silver platter. It takes discipline. Now, the way that you can do this is by monitoring how long you study. You study for about 25 minutes, right? But not 25 minutes a day. Hear me out. You study for about 25 minutes early in the morning. You eat a frog. First thing that you need to do is eat a frog. Eat a frog means basically starting with the most complicated task during the day. If you find business as the most complicated task during the day, it means you're supposed to start with it to finish your brain points. But if studying is something that you find the most complicated to do, it means you need to make sure you do it the first thing you do when you wake up. Don't touch your phone, don't touch your business, fall straight into studying, because that is the hardest thing that you can possibly do, right? And then after you eat a frog, you don't just study for 6 hours in a row and expect to get the correct information. You can study for 25-minute bursts. You study for 25 minutes, you take like a 5-minute break, you walk around. By break, I don't mean you start scrolling on social media. No. If you find yourself tempted to do this, it simply means you just need some kind of phone locking app. I teach more in depth on how to become more disciplined in your studies and how to get better grades and how to be a straight A student while at the same time killing it in business. It's inside of the Distinction Startup Masterclass, where I basically walk you through the process of being a high performing student, right? The process of what it takes to remember your notes more easily, grasp concepts more easily, be able to balance business with your academics and also balance your life with your academics and basically becoming a well-rounded, high-achieving student. The Distinction Startup link is the first link in the description. I only charge a one-time fee, first price, and if you don't get the results that you want within the next 7 days, I will give you a full refund. That's just on a side note. If you are interested in getting the Distinction Startup Masterclass, you can get it from the first top link in the description. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is, in order for you to make studying to be more addictive than scrolling on social media, is to make scrolling on social media to be less fun than actually studying. And in doing so, you are going to do way better in your academics. If you can make studying more enjoyable than scrolling on social media by cutting out social media completely, staring at a wall, embracing boredom, and then letting studying take the role of filling your brain up with dopamine, that is going to turn you into a powerful student. If you like what I said in this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and click the notification bell, and watch this video right here, as it's going to teach you how to balance being a student, a high achieving student, with actually building a profitable online business. And I'll be seeing you again soon.